What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Crosby and I am a full-time digital nomad traveling around the world, and I'm currently in Manuel Antonio, Costa Rica at a Selina co-working hostel. This is actually my first experience working remotely and traveling in Costa Rica. I've heard great things, but I really wanted to experience it for myself and kind of document it to show you guys what it's like. That's basically the purpose of this video, is to show you what the digital nomad lifestyle is in Costa Rica, specifically in Manuel Antonio at a Selina. By the way, if you've never heard of Selina, they're basically a big hostel chain that are kind of geared towards digital nomads scattered all around Latin America and some parts of Europe and the US. I've worked at a few Selinas before that have co-working spaces available to the public, but this is actually my first time staying at one. So I'll definitely let you guys know how it is, give you a really honest review. I might actually make a separate video with like a full review of this Selina in particular because it's massive. But yeah, stay tuned for kind of how everything goes here. If you're interested in seeing what the digital nomad lifestyle is here in Costa Rica, keep on watching this video and don't forget to hit subscribe, of course. Look who it is.
It's raining.
I know. So this is kind of the routine. We've been getting up really early, like around sunrise, which is like 5:30 in the morning, and we're kind of still on like East Coast time. So to us, it sort of still feels like 7:30, so we're fully taking advantage. I usually make my coffee and come up here around like 6, and we have the whole entire kind of area to ourselves. So it's a really nice way to start the day. Definitely one of my favorite parts about this Selina is the fact that they have free yoga class every single day except Sunday at 8 a.m. So I'm about to go to the yoga class, literally like right down the way at the wellness deck, and it's such a gorgeous place to do yoga. So we're gonna go do that. It is about 7:55 right now, so I'm gonna run down there and yeah, get a good spot. So my biggest con about the Selina so far is that you have to pay extra to use the co-working space. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like pretty freaking annoyed by that because it's not cheap to stay here, and they do market themselves for digital nomads, and we should not have to pay extra $12 a day to work at a co-working space. It's kind of dumb. But I will say it is not 100% necessary here. I've mainly been working on the rooftop. It is beautiful. There's a bunch of outlets and you can still connect to the co-working space Wi-Fi in that area. But the only issue with that is that in the middle of the day, it does get really freaking hot. So my hack to that is that you can actually come in the common area near the kitchen and work in here. It's really nicely air conditioned, probably the most air conditioned place in the entire Selina. So that is where I will be hanging out the next couple of hours editing my video. I'll ask if I can go into the co-working space to give you a tour, but I don't want to pay $12, so TBD on that. We're going to get a smoothie. We've been editing, or I've been editing the last couple of hours in the room, and I'm feeling very hungry. So I'm gonna get a smoothie, edit a little bit more, and then we're gonna go to the beach for sunset, and it's gonna be great.
We're getting pizza.
Pizza, beach,
wood-fired
friends,
pizza.
Wood-fire pizza.
Bomb.
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 This is a great day. We've been so productive too.
I've been working since 5:30 this morning.
I know.
It is
I know.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
And I'm filming for her now, so I don't get appreciated
That's
now.
all he's good for.
And the drone shots.
That too. Well, someone came here for a little more than a snack. dreamy, guys. How was it, Queen?
So nice.
Crosby's coming next. Okay, I forgot to introduce you guys, but this is my longtime Instagram friend, Sarah, and KJ's back there.
Yeah, KJ's back. He's fine.
They came to Costa Rica a few days ago. We're staying in the Selina together.
So fun.
Yeah, so we've been hanging out and it's been amazing. So we're gonna have a lovely evening.
Yes.
I'm so happy.
Lots of pizza.
Yes, lots of pizza. It's a priority.
I got a good old margarita.
Oh, the basil!
It's DIY basil.
It's fine. I'll put it on how I want.
Hawaiian pizza is the best. Crosby said she's gonna try it because she loves it.
We'll see. How is it?
Really good.
Okay, so the Wi-Fi situation in Selina, let's talk about it. So there are two Wi-Fi networks here. There's one called Selina Guest, that's for everyone, and then there is a Selina co-working Wi-Fi that technically you can't access unless you've paid that dumb $12 a day to work at the co-working space. However, I'm not gonna lie, I did get the Wi-Fi information from someone in the co-working space and it works perfectly up on the rooftop, so that's pretty much what I've been using this whole time. It's about like 25 to 30 megabytes per second for both upload and download, which for me has been great. I've been able to do basically everything I need to do on the Selina co-work Wi-Fi. In terms of the Selina guest Wi-Fi, that one is about like 8 to 10 megabytes per second, which to be honest for a Selina I would expect better. Alright, so time for the long-awaited review of this Manuel Antonio Selina Hostel. I have lots of opinions. We're gonna do a little pros and cons list because I feel like it encapsulates everything, all my thoughts. So yeah, let's just start with the pros. So probably the most obvious thing when you stay at a Selina is how convenient everything is. It almost feels like a resort because there's so many amenities. You have a rooftop deck, a co-working space, a pool, restaurant, bar, daily cleaning, free Wi-Fi, shared kitchen, anything you need, they will probably have it. The only thing they didn't have at this Selina was like a laundry area. They did have a laundry service though that you could just kind of basically sign up at the desk and pay them to handle it, or you could just go to a laundromat nearby. But yeah, the amenities made it extremely convenient. You really didn't have to leave all day and you had everything you need. You have a restaurant, you have a place to work, you have really solid Wi-Fi and really helpful people at the front desk to answer any questions that you have. The second pro that I have is that the Wi-Fi was very reliable. I mentioned earlier that the speeds were ranging from 8 to 10 for the regular Wi-Fi and like 20-ish to 25 for the co-work Wi-Fi. And I was complaining a little bit about the guest Wi-Fi being low speeds, but I actually uploaded a YouTube video with the guest Wi-Fi and it uploaded in about an hour, which is really good. Zoom worked really well, Microsoft Teams worked really well. There weren't hardly any issues with even the guest Wi-Fi. Another major pro for me was that breakfast in a daily wellness class was included in the price, at least for Dylan and I's room. We had a private standard room. Another pro is that there are a lot of events scheduled every single day in the Selina, so you're never gonna be bored. There's a lot of opportunity to meet people. The Selina puts on events like movie nights, wellness activities, workshops, dance parties, live music, and DJs. So it's definitely a hop in place every day of the week, especially the weekends. So you'll never really be bored there. If you're kind of just hanging out at the hostel and you want something to do, you can kind of take a look at the schedule that is at the front desk and you can see all the things that are happening that day. And lastly, the location of this Selina is really, really great. You are nestled in the Costa Rican jungle. You feel very immersed in nature. There are tons of birds, monkeys, iguanas, and of everything you can imagine. I think my favorite thing so far is the fact that this is what I'm seeing from my room. It's fully just in the rainforest. It's also right by a ton of great restaurants. You're actually right across the street from El Avion, which is kind of a tourist place, but everyone told me to go. And then we showed up at the Selina and it was just right across the street. You have a bunch of other great restaurants like El Wagon and Agua Azul and La Cantina, among a bunch of others. So yeah, you really can't go wrong with any of the food options nearby. You're also about a 15-minute walk from Playa Espadilla, which is where I hung out almost every day. It is a 15-minute walk, but don't let that number fool you. It's actually a pretty difficult walk, especially on the way back. On the way down, you're kind of walking down a steep hill, and so the way back up is kind of dreadful. You're just basically trudging along, but otherwise it's fantastic that you have a beach right there. All right, so let's jump into the cons of this Manuel Antonio Selina. The main thing that I did not like about the Selina, and I can't speak for other Selinas because I haven't been, but it kind of felt like it was sort of built into the branding. It just felt like they were constantly trying to get you to spend more. And I understand that like it's a business, they need to do that to an extent, but it was all the time. For example, the co-working space was about $12 a day or $50 for the week. I didn't know that going in. I just assumed it was built into the price. We paid $1,200 for 7 nights in a private room at the Selina, which I've literally never spent that much on anywhere, I don't think, for a week. So we basically just did it as a splurge because the other 2 weeks of our travel, we had accommodation covered. So we were like, let's treat ourselves. Let's, you know, book a nicer place at a Selina. So we definitely have a great place to work every day and a nice place to stay. I know I keep saying it, but I don't understand why the co-working space is extra. But that was annoying, especially since they market themselves to digital nomads. And then just like little things, you know, at the front desk, there was a whole area of like beverages and snacks and like little things that maybe you forgot, like sunscreen, towels, blankets, etc. It was so expensive. It was actually, I did not buy a single thing from the front desk, not even a bottle of Gatorade, because guess what? The bottle of Gatorade was $7. $7 US for a bottle of Gatorade, like $5 for a bag of chips, $20 for a bottle of wine. It was so absurd. Also, right when we arrived at the Selina, when we were at the front desk kind of getting all of the information and everything for our room, they kind of skipped over like the breakfast is included. By the way, we didn't know our breakfast was included until 3 days in because they just never told us. But instead they focused on, oh, you should book this excursion for $80 and we can take you on like a kayak tour or whatever, which is really cool, but it just was kind of all the time and they were constantly pushing these extra fees, extra costs, rather than focusing on what we actually have already spent our money on. So yeah, it was just, I don't know, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The second con I have about this hostel, and this is kind of a personal preference thing, so you may really like this, but the size of the Selina was so incredibly huge, way bigger than what I'm used to. I typically stay at more locals, smaller hostels, and co-living spaces that really allow me to meet everyone there. It just kind of makes the meeting process a lot more natural when you're kind of forced to gather in 1 or 2 main common areas. At this Selina, there were 3 different pools, and it was just absolutely gigantic. It's definitely one of the biggest Selinas that exist. It was really cool and beautiful, but yeah, it was just, I personally found it a little bit more difficult to make friends in sort of a natural way. And then my third con was that pretty much every night of the week it was pretty loud. And this is definitely a Selina thing. I've heard this from people all over the world, that at night there are parties on like a random Wednesday night going to like 1 in the morning, or like a DJ that's like playing really loud. And you know, where we were staying, the rooftop is typically where these parties were, and then our room was kind of down a little bit, so all of the sound just like echoed into our room. Yeah, I remember waking up at like 12:30 a.m. on a Wednesday night to just and I was like, all right, are we supposed to be remote working here? I loved how Casa Los Adeli in Mexico, they shut off the bar at 11, because yeah, if you want to go out, you can leave the hostel and you're not bothering the people that want to get a good night's sleep. But yeah, it just wasn't necessarily the case at the Selina. Overall, it was a very luxurious resort-like experience that was not cheap at all. So if you're on a budget, unless you're doing the co-live program, which basically only makes sense if you're staying at Selinas constantly, like you basically live at Selinas at this program, it was just very expensive for a week-long stay. I probably will continue to stick to my usual smaller local co-living hostels, but that's just me. So yeah, I hope you found this really helpful. I tried to be as honest as possible and give you a good holistic view of what it's like to work work at this particular Selina in Costa Rica. If you found this video valuable, please give it a like. It really supports me, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I am still in Costa Rica at the moment. I'm actually right outside of San Jose, and this week I am traveling to some of the most iconic spots in Costa Rica, and I'm really working hard on this video to make it super cinematic and then be kind of some really cool spots to hit up and what the real Costa Rican life is like here. So make sure to subscribe to see that video and future adventures, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!